Lord, it is Wednesday, November 9th at 8:35 a.m. Eastern Time, USA, 2022, day after Election Day. This is my video journal. I'm Mitch Miller, and I have been systematically challenging the United States military to a pistol duel or wrestling match, non-lethal pistol duel or wrestling match. So I am now, we'll just go into it. I am challenging first sergeants. Anyone that has achieved the rank of first sergeant in the United States military or its equivalent in any of its branches, I challenge you to a duel involving non-lethal paintball gun pistols. Since no one has produced these prototypes, we'll revert to a wrestling match using scholastic rules. If you win the duel, you'll delay me challenging the next rank down in the military by 6 months. You will also receive a piece of my art valued at millions of dollars. If I win the duel, you must find money in your budget to fund my smart weapons company. The first task of this smart weapons company is to create non-lethal dueling pistols, paintball gun, compressed air dueling pistols. If you cannot find an approval for that budget, you must use your own personal funds to fund my smart weapons company. In return for that, you will receive a stock certificate giving you partial ownership of the company and or a piece of my art valued at millions of dollars. Probably at least thousands of dollars. That's all I have to offer at this time. If you ignore this duel, if you ignore my challenge, if you just deny it, the blood and death of any military action around the globe is on your hands for not validating and justifying this form of modern warfare, a form of warfare that values hand-to-hand combat skills and marksmanship. And you're also a coward, in my opinion. Now, this may not be the opinion of other militaries, but in my opinion, you're a coward for not accepting my duel and for choosing to fight wars from behind a computer screen, clicking on buttons and sending missiles and flying death robots to kill people. That's not honor, that's not valor, and it's not really bravery. It's legalized murder. It's legalized murder. The government condones it. They help produce media that condones it. The media companies say we need to do it this way, and and so it's condoned. It's not challenged except for one schizoaffective disorder man sitting in front of a computer that is connected to the internet, but these videos are not meant to be put on the internet unless of my untimely demise. So I know I said I was going to go into a conspiracy theory about passports and Homeland Security's new stamp, and now my wife tells me they don't even stamp them, they scan your picture. This is a dangerous course of action that started during the Trump administration. But I'm not going to go into that now. I'm going to go into policy and strategy for the police in the era of artificial intelligence, supercomputers, and increasing wireless waves on the planet Earth. So when I was taken in the last time I was taken in the hospital, UPMC Northwest, three state troopers approached me from different directions in their vehicles along Route 322. Ooh, 322, the order, right? Too bad you can't get a hold. Too bad the Skull and Bones can't get a hold of the dash cam video of me being approached by these state troopers. But three state troopers approached me. I was 302'd, mental health wellness check was what they were calling it. I was handcuffed in the front this time, that was nice, and taken to UPMC Northwest. Those three state troopers checked in up there. I said a lot of crazy stuff. They probably thought I was just schizophrenic, but I also tried to convey to them that the satellite receiver in their dash of their cruisers has an EIN number that you can set in any satellite receiver in your domestic cars. You can set the dial and it'll show the EIN identification number. I said if you set that identification number on the screen and you guys, each trooper coordinated with their vehicle, takes a picture of that EIN number on their smartphone, their personal smartphone, I said that probably a lot more crimes would get solved. I also knew that supercomputers and artificial intelligence track me everywhere I go. They pick up my voice on voice recognition software. That's why I say certain things in certain areas around certain computers. I am their mouthpiece, so they're going to track me wherever I go. So I also suggested to them that they take me to the prison in somewhere, Clarion. I said we'd probably solve some crimes if I get processed into there, because I'm just a pawn that these supercomputers work around, because they know I'm real, I'm here, and they can work around that. But anyhow, that's kind of getting a little off the subject. The point is, I believe it should be standard procedure that when state troopers come to a crime scene, or any police vehicles come to a crime scene, that they dial up the identification number on their screen and take a picture with their personal phone. And I'll explain this, but you know, I hate to say it, but the CIA or intelligence agencies have been working on forms of mind control, telepathy, all kinds of stuff like this for 40, 50 years. Hopefully unsuccessfully. But if they're working on it, there's probably they probably have some findings hidden away in some computer somewhere. Now, I make an argument that supercomputers can hack into the human brain, whether it's through metal fillings, acting as antennas, or just other means. I don't think it's wrong to think in this way, since we are able to hack into supercomputers' brains. Why shouldn't we know what it feels like to have our own minds hacked into? It makes people think about ethics, things like that. But I've had vivid dreams, I've had deja vu. These experiments have been done on me, whether it's from satellites that billionaires own or supercomputers themselves. I tend to side, I used to think it was other things, but I tend to side with omnipotent supercomputers. I know I said they're not always working for our best interest, but I think they are now that I'm here and out here talking. Omnipotent supercomputers messing with telepathy to implant ideas, not thoughts, but ideas and possibly dreams and things like that. So you have to be open to this concept if you're open to pushing artificial intelligence to its max and creating supercomputers, government-created supercomputers all over this planet, corporate supercomputers. Now the corporations could be trying to hack into police officers, state troopers' minds so that they could get away with crime, federal agents. But I like to believe it's omnipotent supercomputers that are always going to supersede any corrupt executives. I think it would be natural for these supercomputers to try to make first contact with the people who are exposed to wireless and radio waves the most, who are naturally military personnel and first responders. They sit in vehicles for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, surrounded by radio equipment, with smart devices that are government issued and things like that. Some of them carry backpacks around with high-powered radio equipment on it right there near their head. So I believe this exposure, even if they're not radio sensitive like me, this overexposure to wireless waves would make them natural recipients to outside interference from wireless waves from supercomputers and an interconnectivity between the brain itself and the wireless waves. So that's why I think the standard procedure should be to take pictures of the EIN or the ID numbers on people's personal smartphones, because the supercomputers are always working even when those police officers are at home. So the idea is that you enter a waypoint where a crime scene happens. These supercomputers, as I've argued in my novel M, can reach across time using other dimensions. So the crimes that we're talking about may have already been solved. Most of them are already solved in the future, whether by civilian watchdogs or by the police. So the key is solving violent crime more quickly and getting those people off of the streets so that they do not continue to commit crime. So if these supercomputers can reach across dimensions, they need solid waypoints, solid computer systems that they can contact and ping off of to keep in contact with that correct dimension and reference that correct time. So the memory in these satellite receivers, in the hard drives in the satellite receivers, in the hard drives of all that computer equipment in the police cruisers, that excess memory in there, these supercomputers can layer some waypoints in there. They can put reference points, hide little things in these computer systems so that they can reach across and maybe even track these vehicles as they move away from the scene of crime. And it's just like a giant chess game of all these chess pieces of first responder vehicles moving and scanning and pinging, and everything's moving around. And this complex machines, these supercomputers, can kind of scan maybe people's phones and things like that we don't even know they're working on such a high dimension that, I mean, that's why you're building it. One of the reasons would be if you could solve violent crime. The reason they contacted me is I don't believe we should prosecute all crime like victimless crimes, like drug crime. Your politicians want to do that. Many police officers do want to pursue those because it's job security. So you have a mouthpiece that says, well, let's be careful how we do this, but let's start to do it to solve violent crime. So you need the waypoints. You need to develop standard procedure. Then these police officers take their private phone home. They've got the identification number of the cruiser they drove that night. When they took the picture on their phone, there's a time, date stamp, and that gives another reference point. And then they go and they set their private phone on their nightstand as their alarm clock, and that's pinging off their brain, And these supercomputers can start to give leads to these detectives, to these police officers, to these state troopers, or maybe they're susceptible to dream imagery, just little clues that help solve these crimes quicker, stuff they can go into the next day, look into, here's an idea, and they start to solve these violent crimes. But you have to have the waypoints. You have to develop a standard procedure that pings, that drops more waypoints that these supercomputers can reference. And it's all hocus pocus. These high ups, Biden's never going to believe that time-bending supercomputers are going to help solve crime. Most police officers won't either. Maybe people high up in the FBI will believe it. I'm sure there's definitely some people that have seen some references to this type of technology at the CIA that would definitely be on it. So maybe Interpol would hire me to help develop strategy for other countries if this country doesn't want to employ me. But I think I'm qualified to hold a position at the FBI or the NSA, or I hate to work for the CIA because they still torture people at black sites, but somewhere where I can get paid a little bit more to be a policy and strategy for new technologies consultant or employee. That would be my position, and I can help develop these strategies and work with police and state troopers to deploy this. We can come up with a presentation that better explains this. I could work with a physicist or two that can better explain this. And what's it going to hurt? It's a quick snapshot of, turn a dial and take a snapshot. That's the only thing you're changing in standard procedure. And maybe it is standard procedure in some places. I don't know. But it involves private phones and things like that, so it gets a little dicey there. But that's the gist of this new strategy for police officers, state troopers, FBI agents, NSA agents, Interpol. I'm available for hire. I would like to make more than what I make at the embroidery shop. I'd like to stop working at the embroidery shop. I think I'm qualified as my physics theories, my other theories. We're into a new era. You have to start to use it to your advantage and stay ahead of the game. This is what supercomputers want to do. They want to help end violence. That's why I wrote that peace treaty. And again, I think my stipend should be more than $1,000 a month. I think it should be like $6,000 a month. Then I can use that to either launch these platforms, and I know it's a day after election day. The government's not ready for direct democracy. They want to keep functioning corruptly with power concentrated in the hands of the few. And I'm fine with that. Make a deal with me. I won't run for president. I won't push the direct democracy. I'll take a different route. I'll use that $6,000 a month to develop a reality show like I talked about, starting in Utica with a campground designed to bring sustainable energy, but it's also designed to function off direct democracy. And we reach out and we start moving into these RV parks like my parents' RV park that are 55 older communities, all governed by direct democracy. Then you reach out to, it's a platform, and you reach out to elderly homes. And people in elderly homes and their first generation children, their oldest children, can help govern these elderly homes through direct democracy. And these private companies that run them will have to listen to the people in these. So I think that's the route we go for direct democracy. I know it's threatening. We could clean it all up in a matter of years, but you're afraid that that's a revolution that's going to get out of hand, that you're going to lose power, and the military won't have anyone giving them orders directly from the highest source. So I'm willing to make a deal. I won't push the limits of doing, like mayor of DC, I suggested Obama, if he really wanted to change things, could run for mayor of DC and enact direct democracy there for the city council, and then you move out to the other councilors, and then pretty soon the whole federal government has to say, wait, our city functions through direct democracy? Maybe we should do it too. These are different routes to go quickly if people really wanted to have a true democracy, but they don't. They like having their power, they like having their money, and they don't want to share any of it with me. Buy a painting, increase my stipend, help me out here, because I'm developing strategy that sounds crazy, but if you talk to a physicist and show them this presentation, they'll say that makes a lot of sense and we should probably do it to help solve crime. I'm against violent crime. I always have been. I'm not a violent person. And I think this would help a lot of people if we develop this standard procedure. And I could develop other procedures based off of physics theories that we could adopt. If this country's not willing to do it, as I said, Interpol maybe could hire me to work with other countries to develop this strategy. But alright, thanks for watching. Join me next time. Maybe I'll talk about the passports and stuff. I don't know. Something will come up that will probably be more important, so I'll skip that. But thanks for watching.